Okay, so hypergamy is going wild. Now, on this topic, I want to talk about the how the social media in today's society helped to level up the hypergamy and help the hypergamy to expand in a much wider extent comparing to several years before, and some of the consequences of the situation. So also I'm going to share some of the phenomena and my own experience and what I have seen due to this problem. I'm not gonna say it's a problem because this is the tendency and this is the phenomenon due to this the progress of the progress of the modern technology. So here's what I want to share. Why am I calling it hypergamy is going wild? So first of all, the concept of hypergamy is existing all the time, from a very ancient time to now. The meaning of the existing of hypergamy for the women means to that they have to choose the strongest male, and no matter it's like the biological or the psychological strongest male, and choose the best gene for its reproduction. And so that is like the natural biological feature of the female. The foundation of the the psyche of hypergamy was always the same, and it did not change at all. But but with the development of the social media, for example, the Instagram and also the TikTok, the number of the men that women can see and also interact had been drastically increased in those several years. One of the reasons is that by using the social media, the women can just post their photos and send on the internet, when they have a number of the like and views, and when they get to the recommendation page, and there the herself can be seen by thousands of the male in the universe. And so that's why we call the hypergamy is globalized. The men from every single corner of the world is competing at the same time. This phenomenon had resulted the more and more polarized of the social hierarchy, and that's where the theory of the top 10% of the male claims 90% of the female in the society, because the market is so open that there's no limitation for the sellers and the buyers to interact. And for example, if the very attractive girl live in a very small village, and the guy, the CEO at a very at a very far away city from her, can see her in the social media and also send her messages, and then they can manage a date. So the market is so open, and the male that the woman can sense and can see is drastically increased, and this will result their hypergamy going higher and higher, because they have more and more options, and then still their hypergamy is working at the same time. And that's why the fundamental number of the male that they could choose is continuously increasing in these years. And the more the number is, which means that the competition is getting higher and higher. And so that's I think the current tendency of the sexual marketing, with the spread, with the crazy spread of the social media, and the more and more polarized of the social hierarchy. And what can this cause to our actual life, And so these are not scientifically proved, but this is but these can be potentially some of the phenomena that could happen in a real life. And especially this tendency is not very friendly, for the marketplace. For the guy like me, the guy in the lower, in a lower value, because I'm 21 years old now, and and I don't even have a job. I'm in fourth year of university. I still need 1 year to graduate. And so especially for the men with lower value, it's going to their experience of interacting with females getting harder and harder, because of in a normal interaction with women, if you did not pass their filter of hypergamy, they're going to give you a very bad reaction. And for the most common case of the discrimination that we see are based on the race or the height or the fat, but there also another kind of the discrimination that exists in the marketplace, which is based on the women's hypergamy. The way that they interact with the men in the higher hierarchy is entirely different compared to the way that they interact with men in the lower hierarchy. I think the men have been through many of the discriminations in their life, including they might be bullied in school, or they might be discriminated based on their skin color. But there's also invisible discrimination that exists in society, which is the sexual marketplace. With the stronger, the wider and wider of the female's hypergamy, most of the men at 90% of society is going to be lower, with the fundamental number of their selection is increasing. Females' attitude towards the men at the lower value is going to be worse and worse. And that's, that means, they may not get, for the men in the lower value, may get absolutely zero chance and attention from the female, and their chance of interaction with female in their maybe in their early age or when they have low value is minimal, because the hierarchy is getting higher and higher. And the top 10% of the male in society is getting more and more opportunities and the chances, because the whole market is transparent. And with the psychology of hypergamy, all the women is chasing the top male, which means that the case for the men in lower case is getting worse and worse. They're also going to experience the discrimination from the woman. And that example of the discrimination might not be, one case is that the woman can talk to you in a very rude way, or they just don't even care about your style at all. But most of the time, the females are very good at socializing with people, so they may not let you to sense that they hate you. But when you're trying to go to a male and female frame into with her in the conversation, like her reaction is going to be really bad. So that's exactly like what I experienced in my early age or in my previous experiences of the code approach in China. And so this is all, and this with the continuously developing of the social media, this case is going to getting more and more serious. And the way that men can do, in this almost transparent sexual market, is that the man has to, that's similar to what I said before, retrieve their attention on improving themselves, makes more money improving their hierarchy. Because in this marketplace, there's nothing to hide. The more hierarchy you get, the more resource you get. Specifically means the woman, or so the chance that the opportunity of the woman that the woman approaching you, and so your hierarchy, your income, look, money, status is almost like the indicator for you of how many resources you will get. And now in this society, trying to actively chasing a girl is no longer going to work, because the thing that separates their choices is entirely depend on the actual value. Socializing is also one part of the value, of course. Learning game is important, But in the long-term investigation of your overall ability, retain all your attention, retain all your gain, and focusing on yourself is the most. It's going to be the most optimized way that man can do under this tendency. Yeah, that's why hypergamy is going wild. And what we can do is really just keep focusing on ourselves. Retrieve our attention and continuously improving our abilities. That's it for today, and I will see you guys in the next video.